I want everybody, you know what's my greatest wish for everybody to come together? You know what we need to do to come together? We gotta work out. We gotta work out, get some sun. You gotta eat right. You gotta eat right. Like, eat watermelon. Watermelon is like natural Viagra, yo, for real. You know what else you gotta eat that'll make every relationship better? Eat some pussy, y'all. Eat some pussy, yo. Because if you don't do it, another girl would, yo. Ladies and gentlemen, this girl, I would eat her on stage right now if you let me, yo. But that'd be nasty. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for Jessica Rabbit.
Give it up for Paco Loco, who can get on stage and proposition everything and get away with it and make everybody laugh. You know, maybe later, who knows? He's like, yes! Like the time he tried to steal the show by choking to death on me and thought I was going to have to do CPR. No more shit to that. Not from you. And he's right, though. We've all had this discussion. If there was more oral, there would be less fighting because your mouth would be full. And men couldn't say stupid shit then. And women wouldn't be able to talk either because their brain would be shut down. The only thing working would be their vagina. Just saying. It would work better that way. So guys, I'm Jessica. You can find me on Instagram, Jess Rabbit Comedy. See, we'll tell it right there. I know, right? And he's like turning it down. He's like, no, they don't need to hear her. New to the comedy scene-ish, sort of. But you may have seen me on things like Naked and Afraid. And my personal favorite, Sex Sent Me to the ER. You know, maybe that small, kind lie, just a description of my life. Big description of my life. Those things happen to me, which is how I get the nickname Queen of Accidental Happenings. And my favorite, it's you again. We'll explain that one later. You know, it's made me do a lot of evaluation, like, how did I make it to this age in life? And we're not going to talk about the age. We're not going there. Old enough to know that, like, I should evaluate, is any of this my fault? No, it's never my fault, ever. How could it be my fault? Too cute for it to be my fault. You know, but occasionally I have to second that one and be like, okay, maybe I was small kind of fault. Little bit. Like the time that I was naked and afraid I was going to jail. Yeah, it went a little something like this. Yo, Jess, I bet you won't flash the next oncoming car. Motherfucker, please, you just trying to see me naked. Wait, bet me anything, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. But you still gotta, if I do it, you gotta do this. I'm like, oh fuck yes, wait a minute. So I bet him something I didn't think he'd do. Walk on your hands upside down, naked, down the middle of the road first. That fucker did it. So obviously I have to do this, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm waiting, and I see headlights over here. So I turn around and I'm doing this. There goes the blue lights. In my defense, it was awfully dark until the blue lights come on. How was I supposed to know it was a cop? I nearly went to jail, but I did not. And no, I did not talk my way out of this one. Normally I can. Not this time. He comes up and I try to tell him what happened. He's like, ma'am, how much have you had to drink? And he's looking around and he doesn't see my friend. I'm like, no, officer, I swear I was not drinking at all tonight. It was the midget's fault. You just don't know. He was there naked. Ma'am, what kind of drugs were you doing tonight? I swear, officer, I didn't purposely do any drugs tonight. If it happened, it was not my fault. And as he is about to cuff me, he is looking over my shoulder and he is busting out laughing. My little friend, well, without heels on, he's like here, so he's probably like to here. Walked out butt naked, and I did not go to jail. And I didn't even have to talk my way out of that one, because my talking out of it nearly got me in jail. Yeah, Queen of Accidental Happenings. I warned you all, and if you stay in the room, it's never my fault. It's always the boy's fault that's in the room, so boys, it's gonna be your fault. Or we can blame it on Paco. I think it might be more his fault. Yep, it would be Paco's fault. But not everything is my fault. Like the time that I ended up in the ER with my ex because we were having sex. First off, he was the one that decided it was a good idea to get frisky outside. I didn't make that decision. I just rolled with it, right? Not my fault. And how am I supposed to know that swinging testicles would look like a toy to the cats? And we were all good, except I started laughing afterwards, and I was like, dude, talking about getting frisky with Frisky, man. And he did not like that too much. I was like, I'm sorry, but it was funny. So we're going to the hospital to get his testicles checked out, and I think we could have worked through it. Except, I'm rolling him in, I'm doing my thing, and I look up, and the nurse goes, it's you again. I was like, oh, motherfucker. In my defense, the first time was not my fault either. It's never my fault. So needless to say, that didn't work out. But you know, he can't take a joke, obviously. But I didn't even know how to do that. He should be able to protect his own testicles. I don't have any. How am I supposed to know how to do that? So not my fault. At least that time anyways. But it makes me think a lot. You know, the differences between men and women. You know, as Paco mentions, oral would stop the communication, so we wouldn't have to worry about that. But I'm not always lucky enough. I always get stuck in the middle of those discussions that sometimes get uncomfortable between men and women. I had this happen, and as the conversation is going down, he says a word, was a phrase, that starts with a C, and I'm ready to punch him in the head. I'm like, you might die. What word could start with a C that could set me off like that? Anybody got a guess? Cut. That would set me off. But that's not what he said. He said, calm down. I was like, oh my fucking God, you're gonna die now. The only C word that could have been worse is if he had said chlamydia, because then he would have died. I'd be like, really? We're gonna take care of this right now. So I did the best thing I could do. I turned and gave him another C word that he wouldn't like. Commitment. We had that talk. Yeah, he didn't like that too much. And as he starts being an asshole, I amp up a little bit and don't mean to get this pissed off. And I have an N word come out of my mouth. And the look on his face was like his mouth dropped. I have the right to say no anytime I want to. Don't be an asshole. Just saying. No means no, unless you're fucking hot, and then I won't say no. But, you know, he was hot, but he was still making me mad because he said calm down. So, guys, that's not the best words to use. But you know, he could have fixed this very easily with 2 words. What 2 words could he have used, guys? Take a guess. I'm sorry. Right? But I could have used 2 words too, and I think mine would have been more effective. I'm horny. He would have forgotten everything he was pissed off about, because I would have triggered his penis, which then drained all the blood from his brain, and he couldn't think anymore. Men have a little defect in that area. Penis activates, brain is gone. That's okay, because women have a defect too. We get angry and our ears turn off. I know this, we recognize this, but that's okay, because when our ears turn off and we get mad and we start going, our boobies start bouncing, so you forget too. So it's like, we'll just keep going. But, you know, we have all kinds of differences, and the more differences that we have, the better it is, right? Not always. I moved here, and I'm from the South, if you can't tell, South Carolina, and I've lived in Hawaii nearly 5 years. The first 5 years have been the biggest roller coaster ride of adventures and learning. But the first 6 months were the best. I lived on Maui, and I learned that there are differences in all kinds of languages here. But my favorite is the first one I learned in my office. I'm a nurse, work in the doctor's office, and I walk in, and I got my introduction to Pigeon. Yeah, that word, it was beautiful. Walk in, knock on the door, knock, knock, knock. Sir, how can I help you? Dysmycole. What the fuck is that word? I am in there like freaking out. Oh my God, he's using foreign languages with fuck me. Really? How do I play this one off? Only thing I can think to do is to say, show me. Bam! He pulls his pants down and I'm like, I should be saying, put your pants back on. But he had a really attractive ass, so I waited a few seconds before I told him to put him back on. You know, I got a show and then he looks at me, he's like, you're new here, aren't you? You think? You cannot hear this voice, and the best part is I show up in that office, I don't look like this. I have long blonde hair. So you could really tell I don't fit in, and they're just fucking with me. Which I find out later is because the more they fuck with you, the more they like you. Or at least I'm trying to believe that, right? Yeah, this keeps on for a while. And Taco Tuesdays, I get this really attractive guy that's messing with me. He's like asking me questions and we're talking. And I'm still not understanding him really well because Pigeon is a little bit thick. And he says, like taco? I'm like, fuck yes, who doesn't like tacos? He walks off, does his thing, and he turns around with a plate. There are no tacos on that plate. There were tentacles. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, fuck me, what is that? And I'm not saying this, but the closer he gets, the more I'm like, oh my God, I think it's moving. I think it's moving. So I pick up the chopsticks and start poking at it. I'm like, oh fuck, it better be dead. He's like, oh sis, no like poking. I'm like, I just poked the fuck out of it, man. Did you not see that? And he's laughing. So I got really educated real quick. And I just learned, if somebody says like anything, just say no. Just say no. This goes on for a while when I have somebody, well, not just somebody, multiple somebodies, come up and they give me the following phrase, and I did not know what the fuck it meant. Like, oof. I know you all know what that meant because you looked up. I did not. So I was like, no, thank you. That's all I can say. 6 months later, I find out what it is, and I'm like, well, dude, if you would have told me in the beginning, I might have given you a different answer. Like, damn it, I missed out on some fun. But yeah, that was very interesting. It got better though. People like to give you directions. In the South, it would have been like over yonder. Here, it's on Maka side or Maka side. So where the fuck am I going?
Like you look really
But my
familiar.
very favorite was my friend looks at me and she says, it's down by Decline.
I was talking
Holy fuck, I'm asking at the store where Decline is. Everybody's laughing at me exactly that loud. And I didn't know what it was for a while. And finally, she's like, come to the house and I'll tell you. And she explains, I was like, you fucker. Really? But you know, it works because I learned those directions now. And now I can fuck with other people. But I won't do that too much because I know that my time is coming to an end since I see Paco here. That or he's waiting for me to come down off the stage so we can get right between the legs. He's trying. So bring up your host, Paco. Woo, give it up for Paco. It's covered. There's pants on under there.
Those are shorts. Bam. Oh, give it up for Jessica Rabbit, y'all. Jessica Rabbit.
Thank you guys for laughing so much.
Jessica Rabbit sounds like she say the N-word a whole lot in the privacy.